Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the November 10th, 2018 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this autumn-like day here. Actually, we are in autumn. It's nice and cool the way I like it. Actually, a little bit too cold, but I'll take it. I want to thank Platypus Jeff for filling in last Saturday night. I was not here. Barbara and I had a nice day on her birthday. We ended up not going to the Russian, I don't know why I keep on saying London, the Russian tea room, but we had a nice day and night together. So I am back here to spin original vinyl 45s. It's 50s and early 60s. Opened up the 50s edition with a flip side from the last 50s show on Don Barksdale's rhythm label out of Oakland, California. The A side was a vocal by Bob Jeffries and an unmentioned group. They were the Mondellos backing him up. His version of the tune Never Let Me Go. We just heard the B side by tenor saxophonist Roland Mitchell and his band. It was called Irma Special, and which was first released back in 1955 on the Bob Geddon's Jumpin' label and leased to Rhythm Records as a B-side. And Geddon's also owned the Irma label, which has probably inspired that song written by Mitchell and called it Irma Special, early 1958 release on Rhythm Records. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's start off the vocal portion. We open up tonight's vocal portion with a great group out of Harlem, New York. Haven't heard this one in a long time. It's the B-side of their third of six on Paul Winley's Winley record label. It features Adam Jackson on lead. Here are the Jesters, January 1958, Winley Records, the Jesters with Oh Baby.
Oh baby, wow wow wow, oh baby, wow wow wow, oh baby, wow wow wow, baby, wow wow wow, 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 oh baby, don't try to get away from me. Don't try to get away from me. I'm yours, pretty baby, and I guess I'll always be. Oh, 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 baby, I am trying to make love to you. Oh, 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 baby, I am trying to make love to you. If you leave me, baby, I'll try to eternity.
That's a great doo-wop sound by the Jesters. Adam Jackson on lead for that one. January 1958 release, Oh Baby. It's on the Winley record label. Remember hearing that one on oldie radio back in the early 70s when I was getting into the music, learning about this music. Now, the A-side of this 45 is a great cover. That was the B-side. Believe it or not, the A-side, a great cover of the Chantels, their tune called The Plea. I'll be featuring one of my favorite Chantels 45s later on in the show, so let's continue here. Haven't heard this girl group trio in a while. They're out of the Bronx. They formerly were known as the Claremonts, recording for Bess Berman's Apollo label, but when Apollo executive Charles Merenstein formed his own label, he called it Doe Records. He asked these gals to record for him, and they did. They changed their name to the Tonettes. They released 2 on the Doe label. Here is their first. It features Josie Allen on lead. She also co-wrote the tune. We go to January 58, the Tonettes on the original label Doe Records, and Oh, What a Baby. Girl group sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Tonettes. January 1958 release on the Doe record label. Josie Allen, she's on lead. Oh, What a Baby is the name of the tune. In February 58, that 45 picked up by Apt Records, division of ABC Paramount record label. They would also back up Vince Castro on his tune Bong Bong. And by the way, there is a slightly different take on the ABC Paramount release of that song by the Tonettes, Oh, What a Baby. You got to check the matrix numbers, and they are definitely different matrix numbers and slightly different takes on that one. Got to say hello to Delana. She was, when I first came on here on Top Shelf Oldies, she was the station manager, and she was very instrumental, along with Dave the Rave, in getting me to come on to Top Shelf Oldies. It's been a long time, Delana, 2005. We go back to that time, but I've enjoyed every minute being on Top Shelf Oldies. And actually, not next week. I will not be here next Saturday. I will be in Long Island. I have a 50th birthday party to attend, my brother's birthday party. But I will be back on the 24th. It's the last Saturday of the month. It will be a battle of the disc jockeys here. Dave the Rave and myself will be playing records. I will be playing some group harmony things, but probably mostly soul and mid-60s records with Dave. And it is my 60s show, but we're going to play some records, battle of the DJs, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people in chat to vote on these records, on what they like. Hopefully some things you haven't heard before and things maybe that you'll like. But anyway, enough of my babbling here, and let's continue here. This is the rarest 45. This next 45, I'm featuring the rarest record for tonight by this group out of Cleveland, Ohio. I posted it up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. It's their only release. It came out on the Capri label in May of 1954. Actually, a 45 that Alan Freed played when he was on WJW in Cleveland, Ohio. This one features Richard Howard on lead, along with Banjo Bill and his Rhythm Kings. They're called the Spartans. This is the B-side of the 45. We go to May of 54, the Spartans on Capri, a song entitled Lost.
I was lost in an endless twilight, in a land of ever in between, where the day held no beauty and the night revealed no dreams. I was tossed like a leaf in autumn, in a world that never offered love, where the trees never blossomed and the cloudy stars above. But then you appeared like the sun when the clouds depart. You smiled and touched my hand,
And love came to my
I'm lost just the way I like it, in a world that's honeycombed with charm. Now I face sweet tomorrow, for I'm lost in your arms.
If you used to tune into the Time Capsule show, they would say, from the Collector's Corner, May 1954. Excuse me, the Spartans on the Capri record label with their tune called Lost. That is a rare 45. That's the rarest record I'll be playing this evening, and a nice copy of that. You got to be careful of those ratio boots on that 45, though. Got to be careful, you collectors out there. As we continue here for Saturday evening, Johnny G is back, and I'm spinning original vinyl 45s. We're going to go out to New Orleans, Louisiana for this next group. They were discovered by band leader Dave Bartholomew. They recorded 6 for the Imperial record banner. This is their last one, which was, believe it or not, one that I was missing. This one, I don't know if it's the hardest to get by the group, but I really had to bid on this one, and I won this one in an auction. But maybe it's hard to find. I don't know, but it was co-written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Alan Matthews. Let's give a listen to this group called The Hawks. It's from January 55, The Hawks, their last record on Imperial, a song entitled It's Too late now.
You told me that you love me, but you know it wasn't true. Now you broke my heart. What you want for me to do?
I heard you say
It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now. It's too late now. If you come back to me, darling, I will treat you nice and kind. I'll give you all my money just to satisfy your mind. It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now. It's too late now. I remember last night we were lying across the bed. You said a lot of things while you talking out your head.
I heard you say
It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now.
I heard you say
It's too late now. It's too late now.
As Johnny G gets caught. Those are the Hawks. The Hawks, January 1955. That's their sixth and final release on the Imperial record label. It's Too Late Now featured Alan Matthews on lead. And I'm going to send that one out to my high school friend Robert Neal. He was here this evening, but a little bit under the weather, so it actually was a little bit too late, my show tonight. So Robert, glad that you came, and hopefully you enjoyed Mama Galindo's food, and unfortunate that you were feeling under the weather, but thanks again for coming by and tuning into the Vinyl Treasure Show. We'll send out that record, It's Too Late Now. And that 45, I don't know, I didn't have it. It didn't have that record, and I had to bid against somebody else wanted. Anyway, John G babbling on here. Let's continue and have a number of flip sides from a couple weeks ago, or maybe longer than that, I remember, but the last 50's show I did. Now, here is my second. We heard one. We opened up the show on Rhythm. Here's one on Sid Nathan's Federal label. Previously, we heard the A-side of this. The gal's name was Pelia Ballantyne, aka Sugar Pie DeSanto. This one, her second overall release, I played a couple weeks ago, called Please Be True. Now on the flip side, it's a duet that she does with Henry Houston, who would later become the lead singer for the Raindrops on the Spin It label, also the later Cufflinks, the So Tough Cufflinks group on Duto. But here she is, Sugar Pie and Hank and Sugar Pie. This duet here from April 1955 on Federal. It's called I'm So Lonely.
I feel so lonely since you've been gone. My life's not worth living here alone. Why, baby, tell me why must I you so, baby. Ooh-wee, baby. You know I love you so. Maybe someday, baby, you'll be lonesome too, and then you'll know how you made me feel. Maybe someday, baby, you'll be lonesome too, and then you'll know how you made me feel.
Duets here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That is Hank and Sugar Pie. Hank being Henry Houston. Sugar Pie DeSanto. That's her second overall release, I'm So Lonely, and a vocal group in the background. Don't know who they may have been, but anyway, that's a cool tune on the Federal record label. The previous release, their first release, they recorded as the Love Bugs with Preston Love. Preston Love and the Love Bugs was a duet with those two. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We count down the music chronologically on the 50s and early 60s edition. We are in the year 1955. We head to Chicago, Illinois for this 45 on Leonard Allen's States label, one of the thousands of labels that your host Johnny G collects. The group has 4 releases on States. This is my favorite. They also had the biggest hit for the label, a song entitled Chop Chop Boom. It was a big number 10 R&B a charted record. It was their first single, but this is their third. It was written by a group member, Dallas Taylor, and it features James Campbell and Dallas Taylor as vocalists, as mentioned on the label. We go to November of 55. They're called the Dandeliers. On the States label, it's called May God Be With You.
Now pray on you sinners, pray all your sins away. May God be with you and stay by your side, and may He keep you from each dark night, then make you holy forever and ever and ever and again. Yes, again, forever and ever and ever and again. Oh, shout out. My soul's in sin, and I don't know what I'll do. 'Cause my soul's in sin, I'll get down on my knees. Oh, what shall I tell him? Oh, what shall I say? Shall I ask for forgiveness and freedom someday? Well, I think I will. Yes, I shout out. May God see you when you're down on your knees, and may He hear you when you're begging and pleading. May God bless you. May God bless you.
Sound of Chicago here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Dandeliers. That's their third release on the States label. November 1955 release, May God Be With You. Great tune there by the Dandeliers. As we continue here, we move into 1956. Back to those fabulous flip sides, this time by a group out of Inglewood, New Jersey. I played the A-side, was their debut 45 on B. Caslin's Hull label. Played it a couple of weeks ago on my last 50's edition. I'm Sending SOS. Very cool jump side. Now, the flip side is also a jump, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Bob Lee. Here are the Avons from May 1956 on Hull Records with their tune called Our Love Will Never End.
Da 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 da.
Our love will be together, will never end. It will always be, and no matter what the weather, we'll be together, just you and me. We walked down the aisle, side by side. I looked at her, she looked at me. The people were waiting for you and me. I know this was it. Our love will be together, will never end. It will always be.
That's the first of 7 on Hull Records for the Avons, May 1956. The Avons on Hull with Our Love Will Never End. Did I say that right? Yes, I did. I thought it said Our Love Will Never Die. No, that's the channels. Our Love Will Never End. Bob Lee, he's on lead. Great two-sided jump on that 45, and usually in the 1950s, most groups, at least I think up until the mid-1950s into 56, they had a ballad on one side and a jump on the other, but this is a rarity too. I wouldn't call it a rarity, but most of the records would be that way. This is 2 fast sides. Also, you'd get 2 slow sides also on a number of the groups, but not often, and usually the Avons, mostly known for their ballads, I think, but they do some great flip sides. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these cool tunes, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with a song called Dreamy Eyes. Was recorded by a number of groups through the years. Some that come to mind, the Squires on Aladdin, 4 Preps also on Capitol. They did like a pop version of it that's really not that bad. The Sparklers on Tampa, the the Viceroys do a version on original sound, and I think there's some others that I'm not thinking of, but I'm featuring the original version of this song. First came out on the Empire label out of Hollywood, California. It features Charles Everidge on lead. This one charted regionally, number 17 on WMPS in Memphis, Tennessee. We go to October 1956. They're called the Youngsters, Empire Records, and the original version of the song Dreamy Eyes.
Your lonely lips cry for love. You live and you die just for love. But do my lips excite, thrill and ignite the fire of love deep inside? Dreamy eyes, I need you desperately. Dreamy eyes, I'd be in ecstasy if you were dreaming of me. Dreamy eyes, dreamy eyes, dreamy eyes, dreamy eyes, dreamy eyes.
Yeah, they're called the Youngsters. October 1956, Empire Records out of Hollywood, California. Dreamy Eyes, that is the original version of the song. Now, the group also recorded as the Preludes, the Tempters, and again another group by the name of Them featuring Him. This was their fifth and final release, though, on the Empire label as the Youngsters, and actually the last record released on Empire Records. After this release, the label went bankrupt, unfortunately, and that was probably one of the bigger hits on the label, Dreamy Eyes. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to midnight. I will not be here next Saturday. Ramtown Mike will be filling in. I'll be at a birthday party. My brother hitting the 5-0. He's 10 years younger than his older brother, and I guess they're throwing a big bash for him. But I'll be back on November 24th for a disc jockey battle of the disc jockeys. Me and Dave the Rave going to go hand in hand, hand in fist, we'll call it, on 45s. You better not break any of these 45s, but we'll be doing it here on Saturday night in the Vinyltreasure studio on the webcam. Should be interesting, to say the least. Let's continue here. And my Aunt Mary never owned this 45, but she liked it a lot, and she played it for me off of her Jubilee Rumble LP. It was the follow-up to this Harlem, New York group's biggest hit. You all know their big hit called The Closer You Are. Sam the Man Taylor is playing sax at this session. It features Earl Lewis on lead, one of the first songwriting efforts for Mr. Earl Lewis. He wrote this when he was 10 years old. He was delivering newspapers, and it came to his mind about this lyrics to this song, and he wrote this. Now, the high falsetto falsetto in the song is not Earl. It's first tenor Larry Hampton. He's doing it. He figured with their record, The Closer You Are, it was like a trademark for the group. So he is doing the falsetto. I hope you know what record I'm talking about. It's the follow-up to The Closer You Are by the Channels from November 56 on Whirling Disc. It's called The Gleam in Your Eyes. Yes, Clark, I have to agree with you. That definitely is a New York City classic there. The Channels, November 1956. Earl Lewis on lead. Whirling Disc Records, that's their second release. Second of 4 on Whirling Disc. The Gleam in Your Eyes. And a very cool record there for the Channels. Now, when the 45 was gaining airplay, Alan Freed approached the group to be their manager. They had no manager at the time, but the Channels declined. And from that point, Alan Freed stopped playing that record on his show on Winds here in New York City. Then Bobby Robinson, owner of the label, he wanted to manage the group, and they turned him down too. Instead, they hired someone by the name of Floyd Lewis, no relation to Earl, which angered Robinson, who then really just stopped promoting their singles. And they eventually left the label after 4 releases. And where'd they go? To George Goldner. Of course, George Goldner, I'm sure, would take them, and he did, and they had some great releases for Goldner. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue, and any of you out there familiar with the Star Day record label and not really known for any kind of vocal group harmony, mostly all country and rockabilly 45s, but there is this one 45 by a group They were first known as the Foggy River Boys. They were out of southern Missouri, but this group included Don Taylor on bass, Earl Terry, and Lee Robertson. They were baritones, and the lead singer, his name is Charlie Hodge. They changed their name to the Marksmen, and they covered a song that came out earlier on the Star Day label by Rudy Tooty Grizel, and they covered it a year later on the same label. We go to September of 1957 for the Marksmen on Star Day, and the tune is called You Hurt Me So.
You said you loved me,
Yes, yes.
but oh, you lied.
Yes, yes.
You hurt my pride. You made me cry. Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
You hurt me so. I believed you
Yes, yes.
with all my heart.
Yes, yes.
You promised, darling, we'd never part. Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
You hurt me so.
You hurt me so.
Maybe someday I'll find a way to have your love with me. But till then, I'll have to dream that you still belong to me. Oh, oh,
Yes,
you hurt me so.
yes.
Oh, when you told me no. Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
You hurt me so.
You hurt me so.
Maybe someday I'll find a way to have your love with me. But till then, I'll have to dream that you still belong to me. Oh, oh, oh. You hurt me so.
Yes,
Oh, when you told me no. Oh, oh, oh.
yes, yes.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yes, yes.
You hurt me so.
You hurt me so.
Yes, on Star Day Records, really a rockabilly or country western label. September 57, they're called the Marksmen. Charlie Hodge, he's on lead. You Hurt Me So is the name of the tune. Now, Charlene and myself doing some of the research. I check a lot of the things that Charlene has. She said that the original came out on the Mercury label. It seems that Mercury release was released or was reviewed in, I don't know, Billboard or Cashbox reviewed it in, I think, what was it, June, Charlene, maybe it was, June of the year, and this supposedly released in September, so maybe the Mercury/Star Day was the first press, although on 45 Cat it said it was the second. So I don't know. I know this record used to sell for some bucks, maybe it dropped down in value, but it's one of the a few group records on the Star Day record label, so maybe the Mercury is the first. I don't know, but I don't know if I even have both. I don't even know if I have that Mercury one. Anyway, John G. babbling on. Let's continue here. Up next, a great B-side by a great group out of Harlem, New York. So many killer sides that they released on High Weiss's Old Town record label between 1954 and 1961. Had 18 releases, and they're all good. And they had two great lead singers, one being Milton Love, the other one being Herman Curtis. Now, here's the B-side to their 12th release release on the Old Town label, and this one features Herman Curtis on lead. We go to January of 1957. These are the Solitaires on Old Town, and a B-side. It's called Please Kiss This Letter.
Please kiss this letter I send today, for it will tell you what my lips refuse to say. Please kiss this letter, for you must see that with each line I send a little part of me. Well, my hands caressed it, my lips have sealed it too. One touch from your lips will make my dreams come true. Please kiss this letter, I beg of you, for in this letter I set my heart to you. My hands caressed it, my lips have sealed it too. Well, one touch from your lips will make my dreams come true. Please send this letter, I beg of you, for in this letter I set my heart to you.
Great Solitaires from January 1957. Herman Curtis on lead for that one. High Weiss's Old Town record label, Please Kiss This Letter. That is the B-side. The A-side, the original version of Walking Along, also released in 58 on Argo to coincide with the release of the Diamonds, who I think their version did much better. The Diamonds, and actually my aunt bought the Diamonds version of Walking Along. That was in her 45 collection. John G here for a Saturday evening, spinning original vinyl 45s. Glad to be back. I will not be here next Saturday. Ramtown Mike will be filling in from 10 to midnight here. I'll be back on the last Saturday of the month. It'll be the 24th. That is Thanksgiving weekend, and Mr. Dave the Rave will be here in the Vinyl Treasure Studios on the webcam. He said he's got to look really good. He's got to fix his hair. He can't. I'm here with. I look like a slob here. I got to get dressed up, suit and tie, to do the show in 2 weeks. But Dave will be here. We'll be playing around on the webcam. He's going to bring some records here. We're going to be battling. He'll probably take one of the turntables. I'll take the other. Should be an interesting show, so you want to tune in for that. Let's continue here. Have another duet, although it's on a label that shows that it looks like on the label, it looks like it's a group. It's on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin label, and it says the Cupids. I didn't know at the time when I purchased this 45 that it was a duo or a duet, and it really is a duet. It's a duet of Tony Allen and his cousin Eula May Allen. We go to December of 1957. They're called the Cupids, Aladdin Records. The song is called Lily May.
Bureau of Missing Persons, this is Miss Flora Lee. Always at your service, we must have identity. Height, please.
5'4",
Age,
20 years and a day,
weight,
122.
name,
Lily May. Oh, she's a lovely cheese and brown. Yes, Lily May stacked up from the ground. Lily May, I love you so. When she walked out my door, she said that love a losing game, and that she did not love me no more. Call me baby, it only costs one dime. Lily May, before I lose my mind. Lily May, yeah, I love you so. Oh, I love you so. Oh, I love you so.
Duets here on the Vinyltreasure Show, although they're known as the Cupids. They're really Tony Allen and his cousin Eula May Allen. December 57 release on the Aladdin label, Lily May, the name of the tune for you collectors out there. The maroon label, not that easy to find. Usually this record shows up on the black label Aladdin, and that is a styrene copy that plays really nice. Usually the styrenes don't play well, but anyway, mine does, and it's the maroon copy. JohnnyG here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Now, on the last 50's show, I played the B-side of this Brooklyn group's debut single. Came out on Al Brown's Peak label, a wonderful ballad, a song called Missing You. But let's give a spin to the intended A-side. It features Sonny Eugene on lead. This one from July 57, The Starlights on Peak. The A-side was called Give Me a Kiss.
Kiss me, baby. Kiss me, baby. Kiss me, baby. Oh, well, give me one kiss. I need one more than I'll believe. You know it feels so fine. It's metal all the time. Oh, give me one kiss before you go. You should know I love you so. Put me in the mood once more. It's you I adore. Oh, you send me some. Makes me feel like I'm in another
They're called the Starlights there. Al Brown and his band backing them up. It's on the Peak label, Give Me a Kiss, the name of the tune, July 1957 release. Sonny Eugene, he is on lead. Now, I have another 45 on this label, Peak Records, by the Twinkles, a.k.a. the Story Sisters. Bad Motorcycle, originally on the Peak label as the Twinkles, but it was picked up by Cameo Records. I don't know of any other 45 on this Peak label. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. We are still in the year, one more record out of 1957 for this next group out of Philadelphia, PA, and the members were offshoots of other groups, mainly the Quadrells that recorded for the Whirling Disc label, and the lead singer was previously the lead singer of the Dreamers on the Grand label, also on the Roland label. I featured both those records over the last couple of months or so. Now, the result was that this group met up with George Goldner, and he gave them their name. He called them the Universals, named after the Philadelphia record distributor Universal Distributors, and Goldner wanted them to do an old standard. The result was this 45 that came out on Goldner's Mark X label. Now it features Kent Peeler. He's on lead. We go to September of 57. They're called the Universals. It's on Mark X Records, and their rendition of the tune, Again. Yeah, those are the Universals. September 1957 release. George Goldner's Mark X label. Again is the name of the tune. Kent Peeler, that high falsetto voice on lead there for that. A great record it is. As we continue now, we move into 1958. We go out to the West Coast to the Night record label. It's a subsidiary of Imperial Records. As we give a listen to the Robins, this is a later Robins group. They recorded two for the label, and in this later Robins group, I think it's their second release. No, it is their second release. Grady Chapman, he left the group. I think Bobby Sheen replaced him, but they're all singing together on this song here. It's from November of 58. The Robins on Night. It's called It's Never Too Late.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
That's the second of two for the Robins. On the Night label, November 1958, the Robins with It's Never Too Late. Then you got to believe that title for sure. It's never too late for Johnny G to lose weight. That is a fact. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, I guess I told you that the rarest record I will be playing this evening was that record on Capri by the Spartans. Well, this is the second rarest record I'll be playing on tonight's show, and it's a B-side from the last 50's edition, a rare girl group. They're out of Baltimore, Maryland. It's on the Halfum label. I played side one a couple weeks ago. It was called Just the Way You Are. We're going to give a listen to side two, and you got to call the lawyers on this one, because this song, very similar to Golden Teardrops that the Flamingos recorded. You can listen to it, and you can be the judge. But both sides give writer credit to Barbara Coleman. Think she might be the lead singer. Just guessing. It just seems right. But this group is called the Marlettes. It's from 1958. The Marlettes on the Halfum label, and it's a B-side. It's called Only Memories. Yes, Warren, I would like to have every record in mint condition. Unfortunately, I try to upgrade too if I can get them at a cheap enough price, which I have been recently. But it's tough to get all mint records in your collection. I know some old-time collectors, they would not buy the record unless it was mint or VG Double Plus. Unfortunately, they never saw that record again. So they are second-guessing themselves. You can always upgrade the record for sure, but in some of these rarities, they don't exist in mint condition, unfortunately. That's a rare record, though, and I had a chance to get a better copy, but I chickened out. I spent too much money that evening and had to make a choice. But anyway, that's a rare girl group sound, the Marlettes, 1958. Only Memories is the name of the tune on the Halfum label. course, it sounds a lot like Golden Teardrops by the Flamingos as Johnny G losing his voice. Let's continue here. We continue with the flip sides, playing the B-side by this group known as the Tops. It's on Artie Singer's Singular label, and I played the song called Walking with My Baby. That was the B-side, but I like the A-side better. I really like this side better. It's from March of 1958. The Tops on Singular. It's called An Innocent Kiss.
My, oh my, oh my, an innocent kiss. That's what it was meant to be. I just never dreamed what a kiss could do to me.
That is definitely the best side. Warren, you agree with me on that. The Tops, March 1958 release, An Innocent Kiss is the name of the tune. Singular Records out of Philadelphia, the same Singular label that Danny and the Juniors recorded at the Hop. It just looks different because even though the label is out of Philadelphia, they contracted with Leonard Chess to distribute the 45 nationally. And I have the white promo on that one. And I got to thank Ed Sokol, if he's still around. I bought this record from him many years ago. And it was out of Mount Kisco. I used to go to his house. Oh, it was, I was working in White Plains, New York. I had to drive all the way to Mount Kisco, and I'd kind of get a sandwich on the road, and I'd be there. I'd get there around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I would leave by 4 a.m., going through thousands of records, and most of them were $1 a piece, and I used to pile them up high. And then he said, well, he would then take these other ones out of his closet, and he goes, well, these are individually priced, so they're more expensive. And this one was like $8. So I said, well, I'll take it. I need this record anyway. Anyway, those were the days. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes here. I mentioned to you earlier in the show I have one of my favorite Chantel's 45s coming up. Well, here it is. It's on George Gollner's N label, of course. The group from the Bronx was discovered by Richard Barrett, who would become their manager. Now, this is their 6th release on the N label, written by a member of the Flamingos, Nate Nelson, although they spelled his name wrong in the writer credit, but Nate Nelson wrote this song. It was their follow-up to Sure of Love. The lovely Arlene Smith on lead. This is one of my favorites, and I like it on the hard vinyl press versus that crappy styrene. We go to July of 58, the Chantels on End with their tune. It's called If You Try. As one of the great girl group sounds by the Chantels, Arlene Smith and the Chantels, July 1958, George Gollner's End label, their tune called If You Try. I also have that on a 78. I think when I went back and checked the last time I played it a number of years ago, featured it on a 78. Really pretty cool to have that record on a 78 anyway. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, losing my voice, and hope you're digging on these cool tunes as we continue. Here we are in the year 1958. This next 45 kicked off the Hanover record label out of New York City. It was owned, Hanover Records owned by a comedian, Steve Allen and Bob Thiel. They own the label. Lots of pop stuff on the Hanover label and some exotic instrumentals, but there were some vocal groups like the Unique Teens, the Fluorescents, and this 7-member group from Denton, Texas, written by group member Gerald Ramsey. Not sure if he's doing lead, but we go back to May of 1958. They're called the Kids from Texas on Hanover Records. This is the B-side. It's called I'm So Lonely.
I'm so lonely, my baby's gone. I'm so lonely. said her love was mine to hold, to keep till the end of time. But now I know, after all these years, her love was never I'm so lonely, my baby's gone. I'm so lonely, since she's not at home. I don't know how her love was never mine. She said her love was mine to hold, to keep till the end of time. But now I know, after all these years, her love was never mine. I'm so lonely, my baby's gone. I'm so lonely, since she's not at home. And now I know her love was never mine.
That's what you call a rock-a ballad there by a group called the Kids from Texas, May 1958 on Hanover Records. I'm So Lonely is the name of the tune. That was the intended B-side. The A-side's actually a cool rockabilly up-tempo tune called Long-Legged Linda. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, received a last-minute request by Maria Campoy, and she asked Johnny G if I had a record. Originally, she wanted to hear a record I don't have on the Groove record label, but I am looking for that. But then she asked for another one. Last minute, I was researching the show, and I said, you know, I was filing records this week, and I did see this in the right place. Excuse me, so I knew where it was. So for Maria, I was able to pull this out real quick and insert it right here at record number 20. And I'm still looking for the others, Maria, that you requested, but thank you for your email. And this one goes out to her. It's out of New York City. Can't tell you much about the group, but they're called the Two Aces. I would guess that it was, they are a duo of some sort. I'm guessing a duo, but it came out in 1958. It's on the Gary label. It's the same label that the Tokens recorded Doomlang. So we're going to send this one out especially to Maria Campoy, who was watching Johnny G on the webcam. This one from 1958, the Two Aces on the Gary label. It's called Flame in My Heart.
There's a flame in my heart that reminds me of you. Let that flame
Going out especially to Maria Campoy. She requested the Two Aces. Great tune there out of 1958. The Two Aces on the Gary label out of New York City. Flame in My Heart is the name of the tune. I remember bought that one out of the collection of Joel Scherzer like for $1.99 or so. I used to bid like ridiculous money back in the early 1980s on some of these records, and sometimes I've won. You know, a lot of the heavy doo-wop collectors wouldn't go for that record, but I was buying everything that was coming my way at the time, sometimes making some big mistakes, but not on that record. Great request, Maria. Thank you for requesting that one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. As we continue, we go to Kansas City, Missouri for this next group. Their signature song came out earlier in the year 1958 on Thomas Robinson's Angletone label. Song I'm sure many of you know was called Blueberry Sweet, a 45, by the way, that my aunt was always looking for, but every time she went to the record store, it was sold out. But here is their follow-up to Blueberry Sweet, written by the lead singer. His name is William Watson. This one from May 58, the Chandeliers. Chandeliers on Angletone, and the follow-up to Blueberry Sweet, a song entitled Dolly. That's a follow-up to Blueberry Sweet, Thomas Robinson's Angletone label. They're called the Chandeliers. William Watson, he's the lead singer. May 1958 release, Dolly, the name of the tune. First time I heard that, I didn't buy them all, but I did buy some of those relic LPs, like the Best of series. So they had the Best of Atlas Angletone, and I think I bought it specifically because I wanted Blueberry Sweet to play for my aunt, and it had, the only thing I didn't like about those LPs were there were too many cuts, and the grooves were too tight together. Didn't have the greatest fidelity, but that's how I found out. And then, of course, I've been buying all these Atlas and Angletone 45s as I continued through the record collecting hobby to where I am today. Anyway, John G losing his mind. Let's continue here. We stay in 58, and this is a request from Mr. George Tompkins. Finally found this 45, George. It was in my my boxes. I've been going through hundreds of boxes that I've been rummaging through and kind of separating them in piles, 70s and 80s, 1960s stuff, which would be like mid-60s, and then 50s and early 60s that would be playable for like my 50s and early 60s show, and then 50s pop and country western that I kind of grouped together. But anyway, I found it finally, George. So we're going to send it out to you. That this is their second release on the Mercury label. They're called the Miller Brothers. Now, on their first release earlier in '58, it was called Try, back with If I Had a Car. But George requested their follow-up, A Nice Ballad. We go to October of '58, the Miller Brothers on Mercury. It's called, in parentheses, Come On Baby, and then Let Me See You Smile.
Your head up high. Come on, baby, let me see you smile. I know you loved him with all your heart, and now you drifted apart. But you find day by day sorrows fade away. Come on, baby, let me see you smile. Never, don't ever say that dreams cannot come true. Just when things look darkest, the sun comes shining through. Oh, see how strange and destiny has brought you here close to me. You have loved before, you can love once more. Come on, baby, let me see you smile. Come on, baby, smile.
By request from Mr. George Tompkins, those are the Miller Brothers, October 1958, their second release on the Mercury label. Come On Baby, Let Me See You Smile. They have a later one on the Co-Ed record label, great two-sided 45. I love the ballad Let Me Know, a great ballad by the Miller Brothers. Johnny G here spinning 1950s and early 60s 45. We are in the year 1959. Got a girl group out of Chicago, Illinois. They have two releases on Sid Nathan's Federal label. I'm featuring their second, written by the lead singer. Her name is Connie Pisciotti. Connie Pisciotti's, that's how her name, the Italian. I had to ask my father how to pronounce this one, and he told me how to pronounce it. But she wrote the tune also May 1959. They're called the L Deans. E-L space D-E-E-N-S, the L Deans on the Federal record label. It's called Where Are You?
I love you, baby. Where are you?
May 59 release for the second of two on Federal for the L. Deans. L. Deans on Federal, song entitled Where Are You, Connie Pisciotti. She's the lead singer. Unfortunately, she passed away in April of 2014. Their other record's good, too. I think actually better than that one. Nice ballad they do. And song entitled Where Are You? Where are you? People listening all over the world tonight to Johnny G. Got people listening in Egypt, Germany, Australia, the UK, Canada, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Austria, and the Czech Republic. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Of course, the United States also, but thank you, folks, for tuning in to Johnny G and the Vinyltreasure Show. Let's continue now. Have another flip side from the last 50's show. It's on Florence Greenberg's Scepter label. I featured the intended B-side by this group called the Titones. The Titones, I played Symbol of Love. Actually, the label was mislabeled. They have both sides as the A side, but you check in the dead wax, and the Symbol of Love side that I played was the B side. But we're going to flip it over. This side written by Hubert Titus, and he wrote that side, both sides of the record. So let's give a listen to the A side. It relates to something I did with Barbara on her birthday. And we went to see the new Neil Armstrong movie called First Man. Barbara wasn't so impressed. But anyway, this record kind of relates to that. We go to November of 1959, the Titones on Scepter. It's called The Movies.
We like to go to the movie. We like to go to the movie. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, no, no. We don't watch the show.
November 1959, release there for the Titones on the Scepter label, Florence Greenberg's Scepter Records. Herbert Titus, he's on lead. The song is called The Movies. Barbara and I like to go to the movies, but we don't do any of what that guy was singing about in the lyrics there. We might hold hands, but we're watching the movie. Yes, we are. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. I will not be here next Saturday. Ramtown Mike will be filling in. I will be back on the 24th. A battle of the DJs, myself and Mr. Dave the Rave. It's my all 60s edition, so you got to tune into that. I'll be playing. I'm pulling some doo-wop records out too. Ones that I really, really like and I think the audience will like, or that 60s audience will like. I know they like the upbeat sounds, but Warren, me and you like the ballads, don't we? I know a lot of other people do also, but anyway, not for that show. John G here for a Saturday evening. We continue. Up next, a group from Honolulu, Hawaii. In 1958, they were known as the Jolly Drifters. They backed up Rob and Luke on the Bertram International label, but they have two releases on their own as the Royal Drifters. Now, here's the first of two they recorded for the Teen label, and written by group member Rudy Molina, who I think is on lead. I can't be absolutely sure, but Charlene and I think he's on lead. This one from June of '59, the Royal Drifters on Teen. It's called Little Linda.
Come back, little Linda, and give me one more chance. Little Linda, oh, where can you be? I love you forever. You know it's only me. Oh, little Linda. Take my love, take my life, dear. Won't you say that you're mine? Let me know that you love me. Let my arms with yours entwine. Oh, little Linda. Little Linda. Though we're apart, I know it's true. Our love can bring me back to you. Just close your eyes and say a prayer, and I'll be there. All I ask is you to be true to me in every way. Be kind and understanding. Love me more with each passing day. Oh, little Linda. Little Linda. Little Linda. Though we're apart, I know it's true. Our love can bring me back to you. Just close your eyes and say a prayer, and I'll be there. I ask you to me every way. Be kind and understanding. Love me more with this passing day. Oh, little Linda. Little Linda. Little Linda. Little Linda. Linda.
That's actually a rare record, not easy to find. That 45 by the Royal Drifters, June 1959. Little Linda's the name of the tune. It's on the Teen label. Now, these 45s were pressed in Los Angeles at the Monarch pressing plant, not pressed in Hawaii. They pressed them in Los Angeles. They flew them out to Hawaii. If this record even sold in Hawaii, I'm sure it did. They had to play it there, but anyway, did not make it here to the East Coast. So no, I bought this from a Los Angeles collector. Anyway, a rare 45 by the Royal Drifters. Let's continue here, and a couple more in the year 1959. A female singer up next out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, prior to this release, she recorded with a group called the Elvinos on the Groove label, also on the Vic label. Her real name was Anna Mae Jackson, but with this release on Bill Lassley's Memo label, she was recording as Ann Keith, and she's being backed up by that vocal group, the Elvinos. And it's a great tune from July of 1959, Ann Keith on Memo. It's called Lonely Girl.
I'm just a lonely girl.
Cha-cha-cha-doo.
All by myself.
Do-do-do-do.
More than I once lost someone else.
That's Ann Keith and the Alvinos. They don't get mentioned on the label. July 59. Lonely Girl, the name of the tune on the Memo record label. That's Lonely Boy. Ronnie Jones and the Classmates did Lonely Boy. I guess that is the answer. Lonely Girl. You're not going to be lonely on a Saturday night. If you tune in to Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show, we continue here. And we go, how about another duet? I played a lot of duets, played a lot of records with Kiss in the title, and hopefully Barbara's listening. But how about another duet, this time a female duet. Can't find any info about them, though. It's on the Del Pat label. This one came out in April of 59 with Joe Ruffin's House Records under the direction of Willie Coleman. Now, Coleman and Ruffin are two of the three writer credits, and someone else by the name of Campbell. Well, let's give it a spin from April 59. They're known as Sweet and Sassy on Del Pat Records. It's called I Really Love You So. That's Sweet and Sassy. Sound like the Teen Queens to me. A little bit like that. April 1959, I Really Love You So is the name of the tune. It's on the Del, D-E-L space, Pat, P-A-T record label. Don't know anything about that 45. Anyway, let's move into 1960 now with a B-side, as on my last 50s and early 60s show played the B-side of this 45 on Buddy Caldwell's Len record label, featured Herb Johnson's debut single, a song entitled Have You Heard? But that was the B-side. Here is the A-side, is just as good. It reportedly sold 50,000 copies. Maybe that's why the record doesn't sell for that much. Usually goes for about somewhere between $10 to $20, this record, so it's not really a rare 45, but it's a song that he wrote, and he's backed up by an uncredited vocal group, but they are really the Cruisers, who recorded for Caldwell's sister label, V-Tone Records. Let's go to January of 1960 now for Herb Johnson on Len. It's called Guilty.
I am guilty. Everybody knows my My friends keep reminding me that they taught me so. Soon we will be parted. I'll be the guilty one. Dearest, my darling, I apologize. So sorry, my darling, I've never realized how much I was hurting you until you told me we were through. Yes, yes, I'm guilty. I must take the stand. You are the judge. I must obey your command. I know I'm guilty for all I have done. You were right. I'm in the wrong. It's all over. And the case is closed. It wasn't in the papers, but everybody knows I was found guilty, and my punishment was losing you.
As my kind of ballad, love both sides of that 45. Herb Johnson and the unmentioned group, they're known as the Cruisers. January 1960, Guilty. Johnny G is guilty of collecting 45s. Yes, I am. Buddy Caldwell's Len record label. Unfortunately, we lost Herb Johnson on January 19, 2004 at the age of 68. Died from prostate cancer. Also has another cool 45. It was called Help. Came out on the Palm label. Also out of Philadelphia. Johnny G here. Almost in vinyl. Actually, we are in Vinyl Treasure overtime at this point. And let's continue with another flip side here. We go back to Brooklyn, New York, as this 45 was first issued on the Spring label in 1959, but Bob Keane reissued it on his Donna label about a year later. I played the A-side entitled Gift of Love. Let's give a listen to the B-side. Features Mike Cruz on lead. We go to the second press on Donna Records, released in September 1960. These are the Van Dykes with Guardian Angel.
They say if you lose your sweetheart and it's her you keep thinking of, just pray to the guardian angel, the guardian angel of love. Well, I have lost my sweetheart. Everything I've done was wrong. I'll keep praying to the angel until she's back in my arms. You may think this kind of foolish for me to act this way. I'll keep praying to the angel, and I know she'll come back someday. 'Cause I believe in the angel, and it's all I can think
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Van Dykes, September 1960, Guardian Angel, the name of the tune, Donna Records. That is actually the second press. Originally came out on the Spring label. Now, this group initially recorded as the Temptations on the King label, Standing Alone, a great record they do. Then they changed to the Van Dykes, had their next release, The Bells Are Ringing. Bells almost ringing. Time for Johnny G to go, but let's continue here. Now, I was saddened to hear about the loss of Randy Safuto passing away. He was the lead singer of Randy and the Rainbows. Unfortunate, he passed away on October 16th of 2018 at the age of 71. Complications from heart surgery. I will always love their big national hit, Denise, a big top 10 record for them on the Russ label, but they had a number of sides I really like. So how about I play a B-side? We flip over the big hit Denise, a tune written by Neil Levinson, as we pay tribute to the late Randy Safuto. This one from March of '63, Rust Records, Randy and the Rainbows. This is the B-side of Denise, song entitled Come Back.
Come back in my heart. 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 Come back right into my heart. Come back with all of your charm. Hold me close and whisper words I want to hear. You and you alone can bring it to me. Come back in my heart. Come back in my heart. It was you little back in my love from the start. Back in my heart. Your caress can set my little heart on fire. You and you alone can fill my Come back right into my heart. Kiss me with all of your warmth. You and you alone can make my life complete. So come back right into my heart. Yeah, come back right into my life. Yeah, come back right into my
March '63 release there, Randy and the Rainbows. We pay tribute to the late Randy Safuto. Come Back, the name of the tune on the Russ record label. That's the B-side to Denise, the first of 5 on Russ. Now, the group out of Queens, New York, they have other releases on the Mike label, I think is one, and kind of their career was rejuvenated when they had releases in the 80s on the Ambient Sound label. I think they did an LP. I think I have that LP, by the way. I do have some of the 45s anyway, but again, a loss, Randy Safuto. As we continue here, we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. I wish I could tell you more about this next singer, but I can't. It appears to be his only release. I like both sides of this 45. Came out on the Coral label. Now, this artist wrote both sides of the record, has girls backing him up. It's directed by Henry Jerome. Let's give a listen to the intended A-side, which is My Type of Ballad, and supposedly Dick Hyman, he is playing piano on this one. We go to October of '62. His name is Bobby Caver, C-A-V-E-R, Bobby Caver. It's on Coral Records. He wrote the song. It's called Never Leave Me. name's Bobby Caver. Bobby Caver, C-A-V-E-R, October 1962. Never Leave Me. It's on the Coral record label. As Johnny G losing his mind, let's continue with a few more here. And a bit out of order chronologically, but it doesn't matter really. That this next group, they're out of Philadelphia, PA. They are called the Five Classics. They have this 45 on the Road label. Now, the lead singer's name is Sal Dupree, which is an alias for Sal Amarello, who gets writer credits on the label. We go to April of 63. Give a listen to the Five Classics. It's on the Road label, R-O-D-E. It's called Magic Star.
Magic, magic, magic star up in the sky. I see a magic star looking upon me as though it knew that I fell in love with only you. It sparkles in your eyes as it glitters in mine, making me think of the good times. Oh, magic, 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 magic. Ooh. I often wonder why you went away. I'll ask the water bomb to bring you back someday. And I know, yes I know, our love is true. Now I ask the Lord above if He could send me love. And now I am here all alone. So won't you come back? Yes, I wonder. Oh, I wonder why the stars in the sky don't shine and bring you home to me. Magic, 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 magic star.
April 63 release there. They're called the Five Classics. It's on the Road label. Magic Star is the name of the tune. Now you can get this cheaper on the Medieval label. Came out in 64, much cheaper. Now the group also backed up Dean Randolph on a song called False Love on the Chancellor label. That's a cool tune also. John G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue. Got another flip side from a couple of weeks ago. This group out of Odessa, Texas featured the A-side of their debut single, the first of 9, on the Monument label, their rendition of the tune That Lucky Old Sun. But I also like the B-side, tune written by Roy Orbison and Joe Melson. I couldn't find that either of those two recorded this song, but maybe they did. Tried to check an LP on Monument, but no, they have not. But this side features Virgil Johnson, or this group features Virgil Johnson. He's on lead. We go to January 61 for the Velvets. It's on Monument Records. It's the B-side to their debut single. It's a song entitled Time and Again.
Time and again, I
January 1961 there. Virgil Johnson and the Velvets. That's a great tune. Great two-sided 45. Time and Again is the name of that one on the Monument label. It was Roy Orbison that discovered that group and brought them to the Monument label, Roy's label at the time. Great tune there by the Velvets. Let's continue. Here's a group out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They began back in 1957, backing up Mickey Tolliver and the Capitals. Now, on George Gollner's Cindy label, took them 7 years to record again. We're going to give a listen to the intended B-side of their 45. It features a female lead. Her name is Doris Goins. Doris Goins. This is on the Gateway Records out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, early '64. They're called the Capitals. On Gateway, it's called Day by Day. Need to take life day by day. Yes, we do. That one there by the Capitals, early '64 release, Doris Goins. She's on lead for that one, Day by Day, at Gateway Records out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's continue here. Don't know much about this next 45, except it's on Bob Shad's Brent label. And this is a promo copy that belonged to Pittsburgh disc jockey Mad Mike Metrovich, who passed away on October 31st of 2000. He was a disc jockey very similar to Porky Chedwick. He put out oldie compilation LPs. They were called Mad Mike's Moldy Oldies. And he scribbled on this white promo, Brent promo in ballpoint pen. He notes on the label, it says Mad Mike Great Radio Slow Dance. So let's give it a spin. This was his record, Mad Mike's record. It's by Nelvin Elder, and he is from 1961. Nelvin Elder on Brent. It's called I Dream.
I dream, I dream, I dream, I dream, I dream of you. I dream, I dream, I dream, I dream of you.
I dream of you.
I dream
Almost every night. I dream of you.
I dream
When you're not inside. You my every prayer. That's why I dream of you. If I had to pay a price to dream, beg, borrow, and steal is what I do. I would sell my heart and soul just so I could be with you. I dream of you when the day is through. I rush to sleep just to be with you. You're my everything. That's why I dream of you.
December 61 release there. Nelvin Elders his name. And a group backing him up on that one. I Dream is the name of the tune. It's on Brent Records, Bob Shad's Brent record label. Cool tunes here. Johnny G doing Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We'll do a little bit more here. And a great girl group sound up next out of the year 1962. These gals are out of Detroit, Michigan. Started recording back in 1959 on the Twirl label, which was then picked up by Cameo Records. The lead singer's real name is Elma Holman, but we know her as Bobby Smith. This is the third of 5 that she recorded on the Big Top label. When we can call this song the female cover of a tune the Royal Jokers recorded. Royal Jokers recorded in 1956 a song called She's Mine, All Mine on the Atco record label. I guess this could be a cover of that tune. On the female side, we go to January 62 on Big Top Records for Bobby Smith and the Dream Girls and their tune called Mine, All Mine.
Going to a dance that was the star of a romance
January 62 release there for Bobby Smith and the Dream Girls. They're in their tune Mine All Mine on the Big Top record label. Bobby Smith, her real name Elma Holman. Now they have other releases on the Metro label, but they got some really cool records on the Big Top label. That is just one of them. That's probably the best, I say. Johnny G here, got 2 more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next, the next 2, I guess, we're going to close the show with 2 sides from featured the flip sides on past Vinyl Treasure Shows. Up first, a group called The Showmen. They're out of Norfolk, Virginia. Played the A side of their second on the Minute label, a song called The Wrong Girl. But I also like the B side. Features Norman Johnson on lead. We go to January of 62. Here are The Showmen on Minute. It's called Fate Planned It This Way.
Fate planned it this way.
Why can't I be immortal? Why can't I live forever? Why can't I be your lover? I guess fate planned it this way. Why can't I be a wise man? Why can't I be a rich man? Why can't I be your man? I guess fate planned it this way. I wanna be someone. I wanna help someone. I wanna love someone. These things I guess I'll never do or be.
Fate planned it this
Why can't I be a wise man? Why can't I be a rich man? Why can't I be your man? I guess fate planned it this way. I guess fate planned it this way.
January 1962 release there for The Showmen, the late Norman Johnson on lead. That's a B-side there. The B-side to their, their second release on the Minute label, Fate Planned It This Way. Did I say that way? It's this way. Fate planned it this way. And Fate planned it that it's time for Johnny G to sign off. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for tuning in, listening to original 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Thank you those that have contacted me telling me they enjoyed the show. I like to get emails telling me that they enjoy the show because I get a thrill bringing it to you, the Top Shelf Oldies listeners, every Saturday from 10 to midnight. And I won't be here next Saturday. Ramtown Mike will be filling in for me. I will be back on the 24th. It will be a DJ competition. We're going to be a battle of the disc jockeys. Myself and Dave the Rave will be playing records the last Saturday of the month. It's my all 60s show. So he's going to be here in the studio playing records on my record player. We'll give him one of these, and I'll have the other, and we'll be playing records back and forth. You're going to vote on the records that you like. So tune in there. I told him to bring his laptop so he could communicate separately. I have to communicate on this PC. He'll communicate on a laptop. So I wish I had someone here to hold the camera. Charlene, if you can come here, you can hold the camera. Linda, you can come here and hold the camera. But anyway, that's going to be the show in 2 weeks. So then that'll be my all 60s show. But I hope you enjoyed the tunes here. We're going to close the show tonight we're going to stay with a B-side. A number of weeks ago, I played the A-side of this. This artist, he's out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His real name was John Greco. I played this 45 on the Gone label, The Beggar That Became a King. That was the A-side, which charted regionally. We're going to give a spin to the B-side, which is a song he wrote. His name is Johnny Jack, and we go to August of 62. The closers from August 62, Johnny Jack on Gone, a song entitled Touch Me. And that's what I get touched every time you guys tune in to the Vinyltreasure Show. Anyway, that's going to do it. So please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Rave, Relics and Rarities, starting at 9 p.m. right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and all the shows that are here on Top Shelf Oldies. Again, thank you, Charlene, for all your help again. And I'm so glad to be here. And I want everybody to have a safe and happy week. And hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks for the big showdown between me and Dave the Rave. Should be a lot of fun. It's not for any nastiness. It's going to be lots of fun. So you want to tune into that. So everybody, take care. I will see you in 2 weeks. Just want to say, everybody, so long.